Pregame.com.
Chargers at Bears. Line opened Chicago -4 and 47. Now down to 3.5 and 45. This is Brian's best bet. I actually covered my ears when he told our producer what side he's giving out, or I don't even know if it's a total, because I have an opinion for this game, so I can't wait to see what his best bet is. Give me the pick.
I like the Bears. Taking the Bears minus the 3.5 here. Actually, I bet on -3 earlier this week in Vegas.
Good number.
You take a look at the situational aspect of this from the San Diego Chargers. They're off of games against the New York Jets, AFC playoff opponent possibly. A team that goes to the playoffs in the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs, Monday Night Football, divisional rival. Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl champions. Oakland Raiders, divisional rival. On deck, they have Denver, divisional rival, Jacksonville, Monday Night Football. If there's a soft spot for the Chargers, it's this week. The Chargers, on the season, have yet to beat a team with a winning record. Their wins have come against Minnesota, Kansas City, Miami, Denver. Against playoff caliber teams the Chargers have faced, they lose by 14 to New England, 6 to the Jets, 7 to Green Bay, 7 to Oakland, who's a fringe playoff contender. The stats show that this is a 7 or 8 win team, whereas the line shows they're a 9 or 10 win team. If you take a look at the Bears schedule, the rest of the year, extremely easy schedule. The only tough game they play is at Green Bay. We could see at the end of the year, when you take a look at final records, the Bears will be 12-4, the Chargers 6-10, and yet we're laying only 3.5 points at home here. Quick, I'll go through the Bears because I know you're just dying to get into this.
No. I want to know what you do.
All right.
The details. Give me the details.
Well, the Bears sit at 6-3 on the season, and they got a very easy schedule the rest of the year. I talked about the Green Bay game, but since tightening up their pass protection, the Bears' offense has scored 37, 30, 24, and 39 points. We know the Bears have an outstanding defense. The defense has held their last 5 opponents to 24 points or less. That includes 2 games against the Detroit Lions and a game against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a situation right now, nobody's buying into the Bears as of yet because they remember what happened early in the season. And we talk about this a lot. You've got to get that out of your mind. Every week, you got to go back. And when I do my power ratings, I go back, not only do the full season, but I go back the last 3 weeks. How have they done now? Because if you're going off of power ratings, current form. If you go off your power ratings beginning of the year, of course you probably have San Diego favored in this game. Yeah. But you got to go back and how these teams have done recently. And the Chargers have shown that they're just not a very good team. They don't play up to their talent level. And I like to use this as an example. If you take away the name of the teams and just look at the stats, and you compare Team A against Team B, there's no way in hell Team B playing at home is only a 3.5 point favorite. Get rid of your thoughts on these teams, on who they are, and take a look at the stats. The Bears are clearly the better team in a 3.5 and 4 point spread. It's just ridiculous to me.
Well, based on my numbers, I give Chicago a little over 3 for home field. You know, they have more than the standard 3, I think. It's where they play. Here's what I made my line. I bear 7.5. Based on stats, like you said, blindly. You know, that's what scares me a little bit. That why is this line so cheap? The books know they're going to get Bears money. I think so. Just the way San Diego's played. I mean, they were a 7-point favorite and lost the game on primetime to the Raiders with a quarterback that's been there for a couple weeks. Now, I'm not one that believes in traps or anything like that. I don't think, like I always say, if I'm getting 11 to 10, what do I need to trap you for? I just have to keep my window open and hope you keep betting into me. So there's no reason for me to set traps. But it tells me that, am I missing something? You know, like I always say, they're not sports betting's beatable because it's not the most efficient market, and they're not robots that, you know, spit out perfect numbers and they're 100%. They make mistakes, but they are pretty sharp. You know, the odds makers, bookmakers, most of them at least, are pretty sharp. And that's the only thing that scares me here. Are they anticipating This is just another San Diego season, deja vu, where they come out 4-5, but they're loaded with talent on both sides of the ball, and they're going to go off and win 7 of 8 games. You know, that's the only thing that scares me. Otherwise, it looks like a play on Chicago. What I don't like is what I look at now. We say the ATS margins. Chicago is plus 60.5 and San Diego's minus 45. So one's overachieved and one's underachieved. But the reason you got to be careful is because Chicago coming into this season got absolutely zero respect.
Right.
I mean, this is a team that a lot of people don't remember, they won the division.
Yes.
Green Bay didn't win the division. It was the Chicago Bears who are 11-5. Green Bay had to go into Chicago to get to the Super Bowl, you know? And coming into the season, they got absolutely no respect at all. So I think that lends to why they have a plus 60 ATS margin. And even though a market may eventually correct itself in this case, I'm not quick to jump against them just because of that fact, you know, or usually I'd say this is a great opportunity to take advantage of an undervalued or overvalued team. What I like, and I wanted your opinion, I like the under here. The open 47, I love under 47, but I still think at 45 there's some value. And here's why. They're protecting Cutler a lot better. And the reason for that is simple. They're using more 2 tight end sets, and he's no longer taking 7-step drops. He's taking 3 and 5-step drops, and he's delivering the football. And he's not getting sacked. So obviously they figured that out without having to change the whole offensive line. But Chicago's success and why I think they've been able to score points is their third down conversion. They're 49% on third downs on the season. And at home, they're 53.6%. But if you look at San Diego, that defense, their only really good stat this year has been shutting teams down on third down. You know, when they're 31% on the season, 30% on the road. You know, because of that, I don't think we're going to see long drives being sustained. You know, and factor in Forte running the ball and San Diego in Chicago, that weather, it is end of November. You know, I don't think you're going to see the Southern California offense that many people would expect from San Diego. So because of that, as long as Rivers don't turn the ball over like he's done, I think we could get an under. You know, obviously you got to factor in Hester special teams, and like I said, Rivers. What I think's funny is Rivers getting so much heat about how badly he's playing. You know, and his worst stat is his interceptions. He's got 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. But if you look at his yards per game, completion percentage, they're better than Jay Cutler's, you know. But Cutler hasn't turned the ball over. 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's getting the job done. He's very efficient this year. I think this game is going to play out a lot slower than wide open offensive juggernaut type of game. I don't know. That's just how I saw it coming in. I thought at 47 it was too high. Sharp money came in right away on the under. I still think there's some value.
Yeah, you were talking. I don't have an opinion on the total, but you were talking about the Bears and the reason why the Bears are undervalued, and they were. Nobody wanted any part of the Bears coming into the season, whereas San Diego, number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense last year,
and
everybody thought this is the year they fixed up their special teams. Yeah. This is the year.
And all so the Pythagorean theorem believers said this was a 12-14 last year.
Right, and there's something in that locker room. It's similar to the Philadelphia Eagles locker room. There's a ton of talent there, but they're just not getting it done. And you cannot turn on a switch and say, this week we're going to do it. And we've learned with Philadelphia. I bought into it one week. They played really well, and I go, okay, this is where it's going to come on. They'd never played that well again. So it's just a situation where this is just an overrated team. And the Bears, as I pointed out, they're not a pretty team, and we've talked about this. Teams that play good defense, teams that don't score a lot of points are ugly teams, but they cash. And San Diego's known to be a high-flying offense, and the defense is questionable. So it's a situation here where I think this line should be a lot higher. You said you made a 7.5. It should be at least 6 in my opinion. So I'll lay the points here with the Bears. I do have two big plays coming up this weekend in college football. I've already loaded them. I've got my WAC game of the month. And if you followed any of my plays in the smaller conferences, you know I've done very well in those.
Forget about it.
Yeah, I've been cleaning up 12-2 in these midweek games.
Forget
the
about
MAC's
it.
been in these
Money,
midweek games.
money,
it's been working
money.
out great. Not even close for the most part. And I also have my rivalry game of the month going this week. So I've loaded my college plays. They're up there right now. I suggest you get them right now because I expect some of these lines to move.
There you go. Best bet from Brian, letting you know what he's got for you this weekend. Don't forget, pregamevideos.com. Every video will be up in one master thread, plus our notes for all the games and conversation till kickoff and after. We'll be back with my NFL bet. Seattle at St. Louis. I know this is a game everyone's been looking forward to for weeks, so we're going to break that down in a minute.